You're listening to KQNY Quincy, 91.9 FM. Listener-supported Plumas Community Radio presents Community Matters, a program focused on topics of public importance here in Plumas County. Thanks for tuning in.
Well, welcome to the program, and we're speaking today with Matt Fogarty. He's the new owner. I shouldn't say new owner. How new are you there at Crescent?
Very
Crescent
old
Hotel.
owner.
Very old owner at Crescent Hotel and Crescent Store. How long have you had the place?
So bought it in 2016, so almost 10 years.
All right. Well, this is Matt Fogarty we're speaking with today, and he is developing the property, making some improvements, getting it ready to open and branch into some new businesses. Well, Matt, tell us a little about yourself. How did you come to land in a place like Indian Valley? Tell us a little about your past and background that helped bring you here.
Yeah, so I grew up in the UK, so I was born in England, but from the age of 7 to 13 I lived in a little village in the borders of Scotland. So it's a very rural place, sheep, farms, some forestry. And my little village called Ayton, it had 300 people. And I really enjoyed living in a village. I enjoyed the small town community thing going on in terms of saying hi to everyone on the street. When I was 13, I moved back to England and lived in the cities down the south. When I was 18, I went traveling a lot. I traveled around the world, traveled to about 60 countries at that period. I was 18 to 23. I was traveling around and spent time in a lot of time in Asia and Thailand and Japan and Korea and Philippines, and then I went all the way across Africa and all that stuff as well. So I spent a lot of time like outside of the UK. So I became very familiar with like not necessarily being in my hometown and being comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And then when I came back from my travels around Asia, I came back with my girlfriend, who's now my wife. And then I went to college when I was 23, and then I had some babies over in England, and then I moved to the US, and I lived in the Bay Area for about 20 years. I came as a student, and then I worked in tech companies and finance and mostly tech stuff and doing. I was a CEO or sales guy, that kind of stuff. So I worked. Some big tech companies and some tiny companies, and not my own companies a few times. So I worked at maybe like 10 companies like that. EA, the big video game company, I worked there for a while. Anyway, so I did a lot of that stuff, and that was really fun. And then and I became more and more like my own kind of entrepreneur, my own boss. Yeah. And I found it more and more difficult to like work for someone else. Like I don't know, I just really resented like having a boss and stuff, and just didn't want to do it anymore. So I did more and more my own little startups. And when you do startups in Silicon Valley, like they're super risky things, you know. Everyone knows they're super risky. Like you might work, there's all these other companies doing the same kind of similar things. Yeah. Anyway, so it's a very risky kind of lifestyle in terms of business-wise. So you get kind of a little bit used to some of that risk stuff like that. So I was doing my own startups, rolling the dice, kind of as an entrepreneur down there. And then I saw the opportunity for. I was actually doing my own little cannabis startup. It's called Can of Bliss. And I saw the hotel for sale. Like I had a little bit of money for like an investment property or something, but it was a little bit of money, you know. And I saw the hotel for sale, and it was super cheap. And then I came up, and it was beautiful. And I saw the store for sale next door, and I'm like, oh wow! Like if I'm going to do one, I may as well do both, you know.
Yeah, sure.
So I bought them both, and that was like 10 years ago. Yeah, 2016. And when I first bought them, like I actually had some business cards printed, like Crescent Hotel opening 2017. So here we are, 2025. Anyway. So.
All right. Well, that place has a long and storied history. I used to play music there with different lineups of people, and it was just a fun place to hang out. The bar downstairs in the front of the hotel that had the music scene going. That was really something. And so glad to hear that you're developing the place and bringing it back. Tell us a little about what your plans are for the place.
Okay, so we got great plans over there. So we opened the Crescent store. So that's a coffee shop, sandwich shop, little convenience store. And that's going great. We opened that about 2 months ago. And then we have the Crescent Hotel. So I hope to open that for next season. And that's going to have 10 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms upstairs, a bar, a restaurant downstairs, and a big event space out the back. And then I'm also working with the planning department on an ordinance to enable dispensaries, and my third space there would be a cannabis dispensary. And then I also have a few apartments out the back as well. They'll be rented to hotel guests and also some of the employees of the hotel and store.
All right, so by next season, you mean this coming spring here is when you hope to have the hotel operating?
Yeah, I think late spring. Yeah, we're currently closing it up inside. So we've done almost all the outside stuff on the building. And now we've done all the mechanicals, all the plumbing, electrical, sprinklers, all that good stuff. And now we've done most of the sheetrock upstairs, and now we're starting to paint it and finish the flooring. So we're kind of in that last 20%. So who knows how long exactly it's going to take, but the plan is to open for this coming season, for this coming summer. So late spring.
So how long have you been working on this project altogether so far?
So I bought the place in 2016, and I had pretty limited funds. So it was kind of like bit by bit in terms of on the apartments and the store and trying to get that going. And then about 18 months ago, I borrowed some money and I got the hotel rolling. So that was like a big kind of like next gear in terms of the amount of work that we got going on. Instead of having one guy, now I've got like 8 or 9 guys working on it most days. So we're really cranking it out there. But really, so for the hotel project, it really started April, like a year and 9 months ago.
Okay.
What I want to do is get the hotel open for this coming season, so that'll be April, May, and then there's going to be some follow-on work. A little bit of there's an old cabin that I want to repair in the garden. We'll probably do that as a phase 2. There's also an exercise room, kind of gym, and we'll probably do that as a phase 2. But I want to get like almost all of it done in this big push.
Okay, great. And you mentioned a dispensary, and if you get that open and approved and everything, is that the first one in Plumas County?
Yeah, so Plumas County, it doesn't allow at the moment dispensaries. So there's a bit of history. So when I first moved up here, there was actually quite a vibrant cannabis growing industry in Indian Valley and Plumas County, and there was a big push to kind of legalize it when it legalized at the state level. Unfortunately, that didn't work, and the county instead chose to outlaw the growing of cannabis.
Right.
However, they said nothing about the selling of cannabis in terms of dispensaries. So at the moment, you can have cannabis delivered into Plumas County, or you can buy it on the black market in Plumas County. There's still a lot of that.
Right.
But you're not allowed to buy regulated, taxed cannabis in Plumas County, which is a shame because people drive out to Westwood, people drive out to Truckee, and we're missing out on a lot of sales.
Yeah.
It's like sales tax and jobs and all that stuff, and
or even going to Reno or the Valley or wherever.
Exactly. It's just it makes no sense, you know. And more people are like drinking less alcohol, and a lot of people are enjoying cannabis as an alternative. And like my businesses, we like in the store and in the hotel, like we're going to have a lot of alcohol, and it'd be good to have an alternative for the people who want to smoke instead of drink.
So because the county doesn't specifically prohibit it, what barriers remain for you as far as getting the dispensary open?
So the county needs to have an ordinance. So an ordinance is like a local law, especially related to code. So, for example, like in an industrial area, you're not allowed to build residential houses, for example.
Right.
So that kind of code, we have to write that for cannabis dispensaries. So where are you allowed to have a cannabis dispensary? Can you have it? Like how far does it have to be from a school? Or all those things. A lot of the regulation on cannabis dispensaries, it's like, as an industry, it's actually very, very regulated. Like it's way more regulated than most agricultural products, and it's so there's a lot of state level regulation and state level taxation as well. And so I'm trying to avoid adding extra layers of regulation that we don't really need. I mean, really what we need is to define which neighborhoods or which kind of commercial areas, C1, C2, that kind of thing, should allow dispensaries, and then maybe a cap on the number of dispensaries. So at the moment I'm working with the planning department on that, with a proposal for 4 dispensaries across the county to start off with. And and then a 5% taxation, so kind of raise some money for the local people and the local county, and that's kind of where it's at. So I'm working on that. I mean, it's still a long road. So we've got, even with the ordinance, then there's the application, and then there's the state level application, and there's like a whole load of paperwork to get done. But my plan is to try and work through all that and get something open there.
And you've talked about having a music venue there, right? What are you thinking along those lines?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the hotel has so much history with so many people up here. You know, so many people had like fun times, you know, found their partners, or, like whatever, played live music, like danced and had real parties, you know, so many people. And I want to be able to open that up so that people can enjoy it again. So there's going to be, for the people who are familiar with it, the main layout in the front of the hotel downstairs is going to be very similar. On the left-hand side, you have the bar room with the old stone fireplace, and then the bar, big long bar. That room's going to be pretty much the same. That's where you guys used to play music.
Yeah.
Big difference there is that the floor when you guys were there was super spongy, and it was so dangerous. Anyway, everything's been repaired, so you're not going to fall through the floor anymore. And then the next room's going to be, it was quite a dark dining room before. This is when you go further back from the road. And it had no windows, and it was kind of like dark, intimate steakhouse thing that was cool in like 1980 or something. Anyway, ain't cool anymore. So we opened up all the windows and took down all the internal walls, and that's going to be like a kind of pool table, kind of sports room, you know, like dartboards and stuff. And then the other main room downstairs is there's a dining room and a kitchen. So the dining room is going to be, it's the same location as it was on the right-hand side at the front. That's going to be, we're going to put it with booths and kind of focus on the breakfast, coffee, bacon, that kind of market down there. So that's all the stuff that's the same. The big changes downstairs is that we've got a big events room out the back, and that's where we're going to be doing the live music and the weddings and all the fun big parties. So there we have a stage and another bar and a massive window wall facing the mountain.
Great. So if you just tuned in, we've been speaking with Matt Fogarty, Crescent Hotel and Crescent Store. He's working to restore both places, hoping to get them going pretty soon. Matt, I understand you're also involved with a lot of other activities, community concerns, initiatives, things in Indian Valley. Tell us a little about some of those, if you would.
Yeah, I've been pretty active. So I've been up here for about 10 years now, and in that time I got involved with the Dixie Fire Collaborative, which is helping with the fire recovery. That's pretty much finished now. That was that was pretty cool. We had $3 million to spend and did a lot of projects there. And then also been working with the Chamber of Commerce, working with those guys on some local initiatives. So I've been focused on trying to get some things going in Crescent Mills. In Indian Valley, there's three main towns. There's Greenville, the biggest one, Taylorsville, and Crescent Mills. Taylorsville is actually the smallest, but it's where the richer people live. So the people who are on the boards of the CSD and etc. and the Parks Department, most of them tend to live in Taylorsville. So what we've seen is like civic improvements being done to Taylorsville and civic improvements being done to Greenville. But because Crescent Mills is small and it hasn't had like rich people living there, there's been, I mean, almost zero civic infrastructure. Let me just give you some examples.
Sure.
So Greenville and Taylorsville both have parks. They both have campgrounds. Taylorsville has a swimming pool. Greenville's planning one. They both have entrance signs. They both have radars telling you the speed. Plus, they both have they both have fiber optic cables. They both have septic systems. Crescent Mills has none of these things, like none of them, you know, been absolutely ignored in terms of all those things. Like even fiber optic that came down just recently, it's not going to Crescent Mills for whatever reason. It's kind of like the, I don't know, I mean, maybe we don't have enough money to pay fiber optic people for their fiber optic. I'm not sure exactly how they make those decisions, but Crescent Mills is kind of being ignored for a lot of these civic improvements. And so here we are today. So I'm trying to work with the county to try and get some of these things going. So last night I met with the CSD, so Indian Valley CSD, and I pitched an idea for a septic system for Crescent Mills. So they actually thought it was a pretty good idea, but we'd have to raise a lot of money. It'll be probably a couple of $1 million.
Yeah.
And I've got to get the feedback from the Crescent Mills community about if they think it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be about 6,000 feet of pipe and a water system. So, I mean, it seems pretty basic in terms of civic infrastructure.
Uh-huh. So would it involve building a sewer treatment plant? Like
Exactly. There'd be
there?
a little sewer treatment plant, like a little drop-in one probably, that you can just buy off the shelf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's early days. So I just pitched them last night, but these are some of the things I've been working with. So I'm working with those guys on the potential septic system, the parks and rec guys on a maybe a little mini park next to Lisa's place, and then I'm trying to get something going to replace the blacktop. And we just put in worked with Caltrans on a crosswalk, and we've got the bus stops just went in, and those should get shelters on them pretty soon. So all these things are like trying to get Crescent Mills like a little bit. I mean, just some of these things are super important, you know, like a welcome sign and these things.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that much, you know, maybe when you think about it, but when somebody driving in, you know, gives the impression, hey, there's a community here, right?
Exactly.
It's not just a 35-mile-an-hour zone.
Right. And the more that people can realize that there's something going on, you know, it's great for all the little businesses that are there, and maybe we can build more. There's space in Crescent Mills for more businesses. But at the moment we've got Lisa's gift shop, and then we've got the artisan gift shop, and then occasionally we have a hair salon and massage. So that's all on Lisa's side, and then on my side we've got the store open now, and then we're going to have the hotel and breakfast place and maybe dispensary. So there's going to be a lot more going on, and getting all this infrastructure in place sooner rather than later is going to be great.
All right. Right, so I saw just a little while ago you had the Christmas in Crescent event, and you're also involved with organizing other events up in that area. What all you got going on?
So yeah, Christmas in Crescent, that was a lot of fun. That was our first year as an event, and like the old buildings in Crescent Mills that I've just renovated, they're super pretty, 1920 style, kind of pointy things. So we put a lot of lights on them, and we had a couple of trees. We put some Christmas trees on, and we had about 100 people turn up, and it was cool. It was really nice to get the community out. Probably about 60-70% of people were locals from Crescent Mills and Greenville. A few visitors in. It was the first time we did it, and it was a fun turnout. And then the other one that we've got coming up is the yard sale, so Indian Valley yard sale. So once every year, the whole community comes together and we do a community-wide yard sale. So Indian Valley is about probably 20 miles by 20 miles. It's a big flat valley with some 3 little towns. And on the same day, we all have the yard sale, and so you can ride around and have all these bargains. And that's coming up in May.
All right. All right, so before we wrap it up here, let me just ask you, how do you see Indian Valley going in the next 10 years or so? What new businesses do you see coming along?
It's going to be super exciting. So we have the Crescent Hotel opening up in Crescent Mills, and then up in Greenville, we have the Way Station. Similar kind of business thing, you know, like a bar restaurant. And the two of us together, like, it's going to build a lot more reason for tourists and visitors to come to Indian Valley. Then at the same time, we've got the Sierra Buttes connected communities kind of cycle path thing coming along, and that's really making waves for Taylorsville in terms of bringing traffic there. So hopefully we can expand all the bike paths. I really love electric biking, e-bikes, and I'm going to try and get some e-bike rentals for Indian Valley coming out of Crescent Mills. And then we've got such beautiful places that people can go, like Round Valley Lake and Mount Half, and just cycling across the valley is super nice. So trying to make a location where people have something really fun to do when they're here. E-bikes, I think, is it. You know, it's really good for if you're fit, it's fine. If you're not fit, it's fine. If you're tall, if you're short, you don't have to wear lycra. You know, you don't have to get tired. You know, none of those things, right? You just go out and it's the wind in your hair, and it's just really beautiful. And you don't have to be out of breath. You can be chit chatting to your friend. You go up the mountain, and then you bomb down, and it's when you're coming down, it's like downhill skiing. You know, how fast do you want to go? Like, how dangerous do you want to be? But anyway, it's like that, and I think that we can make something out of that in terms of that people will be like, yeah, I want to go there and have that experience. So I'm pretty bullish on Indian Valley and what we can do, especially like making the nature more accessible for the visitors coming up, and making it a location just with more places and more things to do.
Yeah. All right. Sounds great. So again, we've been speaking with Matt Fogarty. He's the owner at Crescent Hotel and Crescent Store. Tempted to call him the new owner, but he reminds us that he's been here about 10 years. It's just that we're seeing all of this happening right now. Matt, thanks for everything you're doing to get those businesses going again, all the other things you're doing to help out the economic life in Crescent Mills there. And thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Community Matters, a production of KQNY Public Affairs Programming. The views expressed on this program are those of the speakers and not necessarily those of Plumas Community Radio. Listeners' comments on our programming are most welcome, and we can be reached through our website at kqny919.org. Community Matters is supported by Les Schwab Curran Tire Center, located at 116 East Main Street in Quincy. They can be reached at 530-283-1450, and we very much appreciate their support. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.